Hi, I'm John Fieldy. I'm the Chairman CEO of Celsius Holdings. We're building the future of the energy category with our modern energy portfolio. I'm here today with Monica Langley, Office Hours Business Edition.
I'm with John Fieldy, the CEO of Celsius Holdings. His energy drinks, Celsius, Alani, and Rockstar, are everywhere I go, whether it's in the store, with people I see in an office, out and about. And it's the reason that Celsius is now the fastest growing energy drink brand at scale. Celsius has become an energy powerhouse, energy drink powerhouse. Okay, so John, thank you for having me in your headquarters.
We're glad to have you here. It is exciting. We are really changing the beverage industry, not just the energy category. And it's an exciting time here where consumers are going, where health and wellness are going, and how people want more function in the food and beverages they consume. And Celsius Holdings is on the forefront of that.
I have noticed that when I go into a convenience store now, there are big cases of Celsius and Alani and Rockstar.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, when I started with Celsius, it's been here going on over 14 years, and the category has always been very crowded in the energy space, and mainly dominated by two major brands. But today you see those categories and that shelf presence continue to get wider and larger as energy is becoming more of this, we call it LRB, liquid refreshing beverage.
What do you call it? LRB means
LRB is it captures all the liquid refreshing beverages. It's kind of like the total TAM within refreshing beverages that are canned. So when you're looking at a percentage of sales against total beverage, energy continues to grow against that TAM.
Okay, so the business is actually booming, and as you started to indicate, it's replacing coffee. Now, I love my cappuccino. I have 6 a day. I switched to decaf then at night. But this market is expected to exceed $100 billion by 2030. Do you really think you're going to be capturing coffee drinkers like me?
Well, I would say 5, maybe 10 years ago, it would be very difficult, because that morning routine of warm coffee is, it's a daily lifestyle. It's been around. It's just what we do. It's natural. But what you're seeing when a lot of the coffee shops around the corner, some of the famous ones, 70% of their sales now are cold. And you never thought that a coffee shop would sell.
That's true.
Bulk of their coffee is cold.
I can speak to that when I'm in there. Yeah.
That's a big opportunity when you look at like a Celsius and Alani, which are multivitamins in a can, offer that same great energy, but also offer that additional functionality at half the price. It's a great proposition.
That would be good. Okay, now, as the energy drinks are becoming more mainstream and potentially replacing coffee, it's interesting to note, though, that Celsius really started as a gym rat brand, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was in the health clubs and all that.
Yeah.
So when did you all break out to be more in the health and wellness space?
Yeah, when I started in 2012. Originally, it was really marketed as a diet product, or going after the diet crowd. So
wow.
The energy category was extremely tight, dominated by 2 brands, and very difficult to get your foot in the door. Mm-hmm. So it was marketed as a diet drink, the world's only negative calorie drink at the time. We went through that journey.
Because it burns energy.
Because it does.
It burns metabolism
140,
or whatever.
Yeah, 140 calories in every can with moderate exercise, and it does great. It's clinically proven, so it is very much differentiated. But to try to find your niche and try to find a foot forward or footing on the ground, we started to go after the diet crowd. In 2015, we started to pivot around that, talking about better for you energy as an opportunity, and we saw gaps starting to happen within CSDs and teas on this better for you movement. So we pushed on that. We saw a bigger opportunity that energy will evolve. It's than where it is today, and it's going to continue to evolve. And how do we capture that?
Exactly.
And one way was to go in through the gyms, and that's where health and wellness started to build.
Okay, but now it's for health-minded consumers, which is almost everybody pays attention to what they're putting in their body.
Especially in a post-COVID world.
Yes.
I think that was a big opportunity for us going through COVID, and really got everyone focused on health, wellness, what you're putting in your body, what are you bringing home to your family. Really opened everyone's mind. Talk about calories as well. People are concerned, and they want to live longer. They want to live better, and there's no better engine than the engine in your
If
body.
you could say we drink this and live forever, we almost would live well forever. I think you would get beat out your competitors.
It
Now,
does make you feel better, and it increases
it
productivity,
does make
and hopefully
you feel
accomplish
better.
your goals.
I agree with that. I've been drinking it for weeks now.
Love it.
Preparing to see you. And I'm like, okay. To be honest, though, I can only drink a couple of these or I'm like way too buzzed. I don't know how you feel about that. How many do you have a day?
I drink about two.
Yeah.
2 a day.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, now, who are your major competitors?
Yeah, major competitors going to be Red Bull and Monster. Red Bull's the largest in the category. Monster's number 2. And then you have Celsius, and then you have Alani. Are really kind of
Wow.
neck and neck right now. Together, the Celsius Holdings portfolio is a 21 share. So it makes us the third
That's
largest.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Because they
It's
have
truly
about
phenomenal.
a third of the market, don't they?
They
Each of-
do,
each
yeah.
of
So
them.
Red Bull and Monster each have a third, and Celsius is gaining traction. We're
That
really
is-
excited about this year. Is going to be a breakout year for us.
Perfect. Now, I just noticed because I run into Costco to get my Perrier, and I was getting some Celsius the other day.
Love that.
Then I found out they're launching their own private label brand, Kirkland.
Yeah.
What'd you
Yeah.
think of that?
We've seen that. We've seen that a variety of times from a variety of retailers. They're seeing the opportunity we're seeing. Energy is becoming more of an occasion.
Exactly.
Bringing new consumers in. You look at their consumer demographics. There's a big opportunity to play there and expand the category. I think it's a huge opportunity for us as well. They're coming with the Kirkland line. It's using pricing strategies around that, and
Yeah.
they could bring new consumers in that maybe.
And then
didn't
they'll
enter
switch over to
before.
you potentially.
100%.
Because your cases are sitting there, okay, in Costco. Now, let's talk about the health trends. In addition to the brand's appeal to health enthusiasts, there are also a couple interesting markets that I find you all are getting into as an alcohol alternative.
Yeah, you hear about sober curiosity. We've heard about mocktails as a strategy. Alcohol-free beer segment continues to grow. Heineken Zero.
Right.
So many other brands are entering that space, and it's a big thing. You're seeing Gen Z come in. They're looking for alternatives, and Celsius and Alani and these better-for-you products are big in social occasions.
I saw on your website you all have recipes for mocktails. The one that looked good to me was Tropical Vibe Celsi-Rita
Yes,
mocktail.
phenomenal. We have a variety of great recipes for mocktails, and also dirty Alani's is something we've played into as well, and got a whole bunch of recipes on
with
that.
alcohol
That's
too.
not with alcohol, but it is
It can
dirty
be
Alani's.
mixed with
It's
it.
with cream. So you add cream, some type of creamer to the product. It really changes the profile. There's something
Ooh,
amazing
I'm going to have to
and
do
unusual.
that. I
It is
wish I knew
phenomenal.
that. I'll
Phenomenal.
try it. And then what about with the rise of GLP-1s? How are you all playing in that market?
Well, when you go to a lot of these conferences with some of these other CPG companies, it's really affecting everyone. But one thing, when you look at the Celsius Holdings and you look at the energy category, I think it's a big opportunity. Because when you look at the snack business, it's difficult. You're going to be snacking less occasions. The protein segment has continued to grow because GLP-1. And when you're on GLP-1s, you also need more protein, but you also need more energy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking at the energy options that are out there, Celsius, Alani, these multivitamins in a can have
And they don't
additional
have calories
enhancements.
most of
No
them.
calories, low calorie.
Okay.
And they have biotin and all these other great ingredients in there, which your body needs. So I think it's a big win. It'll be a big win for us over time.
Now, what about there is some criticism that in addition to giving you, alertness, attention, and yes, energy, it can also speed up your heart or blood pressure or something like that. What do you say to that?
I think you really need to know your body. And, if you're caffeine sensitive, these products aren't for you. But if you drink coffee on a regular basis, these are really no much more than two coffees of your average household coffee, and much less caffeine in a Celsius and Alani than some of like a tall coffee at your local corner coffee
And
shop.
I get a venti. I get a large coffee. So there we go. Okay, so I have a question. Here's what I'm wondering, and maybe it exists and I haven't seen it. Do you have a decaf version or some version that is not quite as energetic?
Well, what we do have, we have a smaller
A
can
smaller
size.
pick-me-up.
We have minis that were coming out this year. So we have Celsius minis, and we'll have Celsius minis hitting the market. And we also have Alani minis hitting the market.
Are
as
they
well.
out yet?
The Alani minis are out in the market today.
Oh, I have not seen them. Okay, and Celsius Mini. So this is a big change to offer both little and big,
and it's
like
it's
coffee makers do.
Yeah, it's changing the pack size, right? You're changing the usage occasions as looking for maybe a later afternoon pickup. It expands the occasions of both Celsius and Alani. And also, when you look at where these products are playing now, a lot of these products are playing a lot in CSDs and different categories where you might have had a soda or hydration product. You're grabbing one of these better for you energy products like Celsius or Alani, and having that smaller size allows you to expand those usage occasions availabilities.
Now, as you're becoming a household name, I'm sure, because one of your mantras is know your customer.
Yep.
What are your demographics right now?
Yeah, demographics, we target 18 to 24 with Celsius, male,
Well, I'm
female.
much older than that, and I
Well-
like that.
But huge opportunity for health and wellness as well. That captures a wider net, right? So we based our marketing programs and strategies, core 18 to 24, but then we go much larger because of the Health and Wellness and Fitness Lifestyle Association. Alani is female 18 to 24, but then again, it's aiming wider with the female consumer because of the health and wellness and beauty. We tie into beauty a lot with partnerships and collaborations. And then Rockstar is male focused, 18 to 24, going after that male energy drink consumer.
Okay. Now, you also have some really impressive, like, brand ambassadors, which I looked up: Jake Paul, Kelsey Ballerini, trending sport teams like F1.
Yeah.
And so you're becoming part of the culture with this kind of partnership.
Well, culture is very critical. These brands, you got to think of about them as individuals. And
That's so funny that you say that. Each one is your own little individual
It
kid.
is. It has to be, right? It has its own voice, its own tone. It hangs out with its own crowd. You got to really think about it that
is so
way.
cute.
And that way you tie into these partnerships and collaborations. And these brands have to be part of culture. They have to be part of community, right? These brands need to be part of a daily lifestyle and a daily routine, and that's how you're going to build a mega iconic brand. So that's things that we focus on here is when you look at Celsius, Alani, and Rockstar, what community, who is it, how does it communicate within that community, how does it lead that community and associate, and how do we continue to be in everyone's daily lifestyle, right? Daily routine. These are daily products. We want to replace that coffee in the morning. For lunch, we want to be there for lunch. We want to be there for those occasions when you're accomplishing your goals, getting through those hard times.
Now, or fun times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what is your growth strategy? You have a great saying that says more people, more places, more often.
Absolutely.
Did I get that right?
You did. You nailed it.
Okay, so it's very catchy, but what does it mean?
So more people, right? So when we talk about those communities, how do we widen those communities? We're tied in with Pepsi. These are amazing brands that can go global. We need to bring it to more people. And how do we do that? We also leverage more occasions. So we talked about social gatherings where people are replacing alcohol with these type of energy drinks like Celsius and Alani, Dirty Alani's, Celsius mocktails. And then more often, how do we increase those frequencies? Food pairing is a major opportunity. So you can wake up in the morning, you grab your Celsius or Alani and you hit the gym. Start your day, and with lunch you have a food pairing. Maybe you have a sandwich with a Celsius cherry cola, or a lime slush Alani. You know, so it's really about expanding those occasions, going out to the mall, going out for the weekend. How do we be part of that ritual and to have fun with the communities?
Now, you're coming off a strong quarter, John. Your full year revenue was $2.5 billion, representing an 86% year-over-year increase. Now, that's pretty darn good. Now, I saw in your recent appearance of CNBC with my friend Jim Cramer, whom I've known for 30 years, you said you're anticipating a 17% growth in Celsius. How
Yeah.
are you achieving that?
So the 17% growth is on space. So right now in the beverage, and what we're going through in the beverage industry, we're going through reset season. So reset season starts January and usually ends right around May, mid-May, early June. We're right in the middle of reset season. So it's when retailers update their planograms and their shelves for the next year. So we anticipate Celsius gaining about 17% space. And that's expanded checkout coolers in a variety of larger retailers.
I saw a checkout cooler at the gas station the other day.
Love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We want to be in that path to purchase. But you can't get there. You have to continue to drive scale and work with the retail partners and prove yourself for them to allocate more space to you. And allocation comes with greater sales. So that's what we're excited about with the Celsius portfolio. And then Alani, we said we're going to double the space. That's a newer brand. And one of the largest space gains are coming from the convenience channel, where it's really underrepresented. So we're excited about both these portfolios this year.
And you just bought Alani in the last year or so?
Yeah, we did. We
Okay.
did.
Okay.
And it's been phenomenal. It's up to almost a 10 share right now. It is doing extremely well. And it's resonating with a much larger audience than we initially thought.
Okay. Now, times are good. You think they're getting better, but it wasn't always so. You have been in front of and leading a big turnaround at Celsius. So tell me, what moments or moves did you make to get out of the slump when you joined the company?
There's been so many along the way. Number one is that we have a mentality of we always need to make payroll next week. So I think that's something I tell a lot of my team managers and within the company. We need to take advantage of opportunities, and we need to have a one team mentality. I think that's really important. And there's been a lot of ups and downs along the way. There's going to be many more ahead of us, but we got to have confidence and conviction that we can continue to get better. We're going to make mistakes. We need to continue to improve. We need to hold each other accountable. And we've made bad decisions and along the way. And
What's your worst decision
I think
that you made, John?
Yeah, I think it's here. I think not really. I think it's not making the decision quick enough. Allowing too much time to go by. You get that gut feeling, and you should move on it, but you wait and delay yourself on making that decision. You probably lost some time.
Was there something that you wished you had launched sooner then?
Yeah, 100%. You're always second guessing yourself. I think that's one thing you always have to do is, second guess every move you make, right?
Yeah.
Is that the right move? Do we need to audible? Are we heading in the right direction?
Yeah, do an audible. Exactly. Okay. Now, what keeps you energized, pun intended, to come in here and kill it every day?
It's the team. It's the team, the people. We're disrupting a category that's never been disrupted in over, decades. It's dominated by two major players. We have so many great people here. We've grown this company to over 1,300 employees right now. When I started, there was 12.
When you started, like how long? 12, 14 years ago?
Yeah, there was only a small group.
Oh my gosh.
A small group. And
you started as CFO, but
I did.
We'll go to that in a sec.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the investment from PepsiCo, was it monumental to you, game-changing, because they increased their investment in Celsius to 11%?
Correct.
That's a big vote of confidence from one of the world's leading food and beverage companies.
Well, that was really a strategic strategy we had from the beginning. We always wanted to bolt in or align with a major strategic distributor.
Oh, you did?
And when you think about it...
How did you get Pepsi?
Well, that was a long way of seeding along the way to get to that point. Even going back to when I started in 2012, within beverage, you have to have a distributor. It's this white glove service in order to be able to take advantage of those impulse purchases that are so critical for beverages and a variety of other categories as well. But with Pepsi, we were able to prove ourselves. We had to prove ourselves. You first called Celsius a gym rat brand. Everyone called it a gym rat brand. It didn't belong in the beverage category. It belonged in health and beauty by protein bars. And so it's been a long way to prove ourselves that this health and wellness is real. It has staying power, and it is the future. And as we've continued to gain momentum year over year, and eventually getting to an inflection point to prove ourselves, we were able to capture really the strategic alignment with Pepsi, and they invested 8% into Celsius, and we got on their trucks, and that helped us scale across the country because distribution is extremely critical in the beverage industry. Now,
you just mentioned energy bars. So when are we going to see a Celsius energy bar or an Alani? Keeping with the energy category, can you do that? Are you thinking of that?
Yeah, we think of a variety of things within our innovation teams. So we're looking at a variety of energy hydration. We're looking at there's energy, there's protein is a big topic right now. Can protein play within these brands? One concern is, do these brands go too wide, right? Does it start to lose its identity? So those are things that we're talking about internally, like how far can the Celsius brand go and what categories can it go into? Adjacent categories, talk about hydration, maybe better for you soda is a big movement right now within the soda industry.
I see there's a Celsius Cola or Alani Cola drink.
There is a Celsius Cola, cherry cola. It's phenomenal. It's actually one of our fastest growing SKUs right now on the market.
Okay, cool. Now, but no energy bars on the horizon or any kind of food?
We do have protein bars within the Alani portfolio currently.
You do?
We do. They're great. We're really trying to see how far we could scale that. It is a competitive segment.
Yes.
So when you look at timing and resources and allocation, we do have them within the portfolio. They're on the website for available now. We
Okay.
also have pre-workout powders as well. Going
That you
after
put in your water?
that you add. Yep, you add to your water.
Okay.
And so we're testing other areas, and as
Okay.
we look to innovate, but we want to be very methodical in our approach too. Lots of opportunities with these RTDs or drinks, and as we're expanding, talked about the 100% distribution gains, space gains with Alani and 17 on Celsius, and turnaround story with Rockstar we're working on right now.
Exactly. Now, you talked about distribution is so important, and you have a strong presence in convenience stores. I can vouch for that. Okay, so what about, and you also, I can buy these products on Amazon, right? So where are you wanting to grow in distribution, and how has Pepsi helped in that?
Yeah. So the biggest opportunity we have is enhanced placements. So a lot of these beverages are in a variety of key major retailers, and it's all about the secondary and third placement. It's that path to purchase we need to disrupt, and how we're going to do that is with Pepsi. When you think about Pepsi and all of their coolers they have around the country,
Yeah.
you're getting the access to those coolers, and you're getting access to those impulse purchases. So a large part of the energy category is the take-home packaging is growing, but a bulk of it is still today, it's impulse purchases. I need an energy drink, I'm in
Wow.
the store. So that's a big unlock that you couldn't get that impulse purchase really at the larger scale without Pepsi.
Okay, that's great.
And another area that we're expanding on within Pepsi is universities and hospitals, and fast casual as a big opportunity. So
Well,
that's
speaking
unusual.
of hospitals, my daughter's about to graduate from med school, and when I told her I was coming here, she's like, everybody in the hospital, healthcare workers, love Celsius.
Ooh, love that. Love that.
Because they want the energy and the go.
Yep.
And they have to be alert, for
They have to
heaven's
be
sake.
alert, and it's the better for you energy product on the market. It's phenomenal. We've been supporting first responders and nurses, even going back as far as we can go with the company. We did a big program during COVID when they were doing COVID testing within parking lots. We turned our whole field team, because we couldn't do human to human sampling. We said, drop product off at COVID testing sites. You had nurses out there, practitioners, testing people in their cars. And when they're driving through and they see everyone drinking Celsius, I think that helped us out a lot. And
That's
the
fun.
nursing, doctors, healthcare workers, we
Exactly.
supported them big time.
Exactly. Now, what do you have yet to tap into in distribution? Where else do you want to be?
Distribution, biggest opportunity right now is further into hospitals. It's a
And the
lot
colleges.
of and the college universities, and I think there's a big opportunity in fast casual, and that's what we're working with Pepsi on now as the future. When you look
So
at a
like
lot of these
where?
opportunities,
Where would I be able to get you in fast casual?
well, right now, fairly limited. Jersey Mike's.
Really?
We're
You're
in
there?
Jersey Mike's in a variety of their locations. We've done a variety of testing in Subway. And we're in some really neat restaurants down along the coast here in South Florida, as well as in LA. And I think that's a big opportunity to expand upon. And in the bar and restaurant scene, now that people are drinking more energy in these casual settings, I think we can play there as well in a big way. We just need those opportunities, and we have a whole team that's working on that.
But wait, speaking of the team, what about you as the team leader? Have you gone to a Subway or Jersey Mike's or go into a bar and say, this would be a great drink?
Oh, every time, 100%, 100%.
Now, what about international expansion? Given that you now are aligned with Pepsi,
Yeah.
are you going global, and where?
We are. So actually, we've been in Sweden and Finland for some time now. So that's been our early international expansion.
But now where?
Sweden's known for health and wellness, so it ties in perfectly.
Perfect.
But we just expanded into UK and Ireland.
Oh.
Spain, France, Australia, New Zealand. Australia, we're doing
I'm going
really
to
well.
Italy next week. Are you in Italy?
We are not in Italy yet. We're on our way there. We're soon. So I think there's an opportunity.
Because I bet with all the stuff I'm doing, I would need an energy drink.
I love that.
Okay.
Big opportunity.
All right, let's talk about your career path. In addition to leading a turnaround here, I think you had an interesting background. You were a CPA first.
Yep.
Okay. But even before you were that, I saw that you put yourself through college and went to college at night.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're a hard worker.
Always. You gotta make it happen. It's I don't know. I've always been an entrepreneurial at heart, trying to figure out opportunities to take advantage of them and continue to grow. And it's been fun. I did all through even high school and college. I worked for Eckerd Drugs within retail. That was great at learning on how consumers react in retail, planograms, pricing, making sure you have the right product in the right part of the store. So I've taken a lot of those key learnings along the way to here and managing teams.
Now, also, your grandmother took you to Wall Street early on. Did that give you a vision? One day, I want to be a public CEO.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you think that big?
I always wanted, going on the train down and going to the stock exchange, I always wanted to be, I was fascinated with everything that was going on. So, absolutely, being maybe a stockbroker or something along those lines. And along the way, here I am running a public company traded on NASDAQ. We uplisted over 6 years ago, and it's great. It's awesome.
And you also, I think as a kid, weren't you even like hustling and doing yards or car washing or things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All that.
Car washing, creating long businesses. I think you always have that drive, right? It's always trying to find different ways to move ahead, right?
Are you instilling that in your own children?
Absolutely, 100%. And employees as well. I mean, that comes down to our town hall meetings, talking to our employees and managers. We got to find opportunities. We can't sit still. We got to continue to evolve. You got to have drive. And, that really comes from the top. You talk about my grandmother going on the train. She was teaching me a lesson along that way. At the time, I didn't know. But you can see there's opportunities out there, and you got to be able to take advantage of it.
When you came here 14 years ago, did you come as the CFO?
I did. I did. I came as the CFO.
And it was such a small company. Were you not scared to leave something more stable to come?
Well, I came here I was 32 at the time. Came here, joined as the CFO, and it was a turnaround. There was a highly unlikely chance to build this business was going to succeed on long term. It was difficult. We were going after diet. It was a really difficult time. We were getting delisted of every retailer in the country, so it was tough. But
That's terrible.
We had a vision, though. We had a vision that this product could be something unique. We saw that it had energy components into it. We needed to put the pieces together and the strategies together and continue to evolve with the market to make this one of the fastest growing beverages and within the energy category. And that was Celsius. And you have to have the grit and the drive to continue to move forward along the way and constantly make improvements.
Obviously, it took a lot of grit since you all were not doing so well. I mean, getting delisted and things like that.
Yeah, it was tough, but also it's challenge, right? If it was easy, they wouldn't, that's not fun.
Is there an experience as the former CFO here that now you continue to use as the CEO?
Yeah, I think, especially working with a variety of different skill sets of managers and employees and, the importance of even in finance, right? So always having that finance grounding is very important. And I talk about that to all of our employees, and it doesn't matter what role we're in. Each and every one of us are so critical on taking that next step and making a financial impact. So everything we do has a financial impact to the organization.
So they don't just think of the fun marketing stuff, because you all are a marketing machine.
They are.
You know what I mean? They do a lot of great marketing,
Amazing
but you also
stuff.
want them to have a financial brain too.
100%. You have to balance the balance sheet at the end of the day. So,
yes, true that.
it's that's very important. And being a public company, and also, showing them that, the expectations are extremely high. We are expected to perform at the highest level. And we need to be financially responsible. We need to be owners in the business. We talk about that a lot with employees. Like, this is our business. You need to be an owner. We all need to act like owners. And would you spend that out of your dollar, out of your pocket? Then we shouldn't do it for the business. Then as long as you continue to instill that mindset and keep that mindset, I think it makes a big difference.
Do you ever have to let people go that just don't seem to get it and aren't as, pun again, high energy as you?
No, I mean, it's absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of some folks can't make the cut. We're trying to create an A team. We're constantly evaluating and reviewing what seat is being filled on the bus. Is it the right seat? Is that right individual at the right time? From the team we had in 2012 to 2015, skill sets are different. Some people can evolve Unfortunately, some people can't, so they have to move on, and they had great opportunities as well along the journey. So
That's
where one door
wonderful.
closes, another door opens. We just got to make sure we keep the best players on the field.
I like that mentality. Let's talk about your time as the interim CEO. Okay, so the CEO left.
Yep.
I said it was a 24/7 job. Didn't really
Yeah.
want to keep up with that. Is it a 24/7 job?
It's always been a 24/7
Okay.
job. Yeah,
All
100%.
right. Okay, so when you were the interim, how long were you the interim? And what did you accomplish even as an interim?
Well, it was about a year and a half, and Jerry David was the prior CEO. He was a mentor of mine. I followed him from another company, joining him, and it just, with his age and health, it got to be a lot. So I jumped in as the interim CEO while the board was looking for a replacement. And through that time, we were growing revenue about, I think, 30 to 40% growth rates, improving profitability, coaching, mentoring the teams. And after they've gone through a variety of different phases to find a new CEO, I get, you know what, I'm going in. I want in on the interview process. So I pitched just like every other CEO was pitching for the job.
But wait, didn't you have to pitch 2 times to the board?
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. But when you keep executing, you prove yourself, right? Prove it to me. So after the second time, give me 2 years to get rid of me and give me that opportunity. I will not let you guys down. So, so it's been a great ride since. We're going to continue to execute. We're going to take this company to number 1.
Okay, now that's bold.
Have to have bold. It's the opportunity's there.
I like your bold approach, and I'm a fellow bold human, so I love that. In addition to being bold, what are the hallmarks of your leadership?
Yeah, I think hallmarks. It's you have to be humble, right? I think is number 1. You have to be personable. You have to be, being bold, but also holding folks accountable as well is very important. That honesty. We're in this together, it's leading by example. I think I've had a lot of managers along the way, dictators and a variety of different management styles along the way. And I think at the end of the day, you need to really, you come up with strategies, but it can't be your strategy. It needs to be their strategy. And that's the difference, I think, between great leaders need to convince their team members, this is our strategy and this is what we're executing, and we're going to hold each other accountable on that. I think that's the most critical components.
Is it true that you have your own employees, like keep Alani or Celsius or Rockstar at their house? So if the Amazon driver comes, give them a drink or whatever. Do they actually do that?
Absolutely. We're all in this together. Everyone can make a difference. Everyone should be selling no matter what role they are.
Everyone should be selling.
Absolutely.
Selling all the time.
You need to sell all the time. Wherever you are, you need to be selling. Like when we travel, we have powder sticks, energy sticks. Employees are encouraged them to keep them in their backpacks and on them and their purses and hand them out. When you get into an Uber, hand the Uber driver a can. Everyone gets product to take home. There's no better merchandising or better product placement than when an employee says, have you ever had a Celsius? Would you like to try the refreshing Celsius or refreshing Alani or Rockstar? There's that.
Do they always say refreshing first?
I have to. We're different. We're different,
That's funny. Now, what about, I see somewhere that you have kept a Gopher mentality, which started tool by tool with your dad's business. Tell me about that. Getting that Gopher mentality.
Yeah, I've always been helping out along the way. My father was in the auto body industry, painting. He was a painter for his whole life. So, on the weekends or after school or during summer, go help him out. And, you're helping the family out. That's critical. Family is very important.
And the Gopher mentality, I mean, before I joined the Wall Street Journal for 30 years, I started as a, quote, copy boy at my local newspaper in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I literally was running copy to the printing press. I mean, I was a true Gopher, and I kept that mentality too. You just get the job done.
You got to go. You got to get the job done. You need to move forward, right? And and you got to have that helper mentality too. You need to help people be successful, help people get through life, help people get through their goals. And that's not only what we do here at from a management perspective or me personally, but that's also what these products do as well. So it's a great thing.
Okay, always selling, getting that in there. What is your decision-making style? You mentioned a minute ago, sometimes I need to go with my gut. I mean, are you more instinctual or more analytical?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right? So it's the CPA, the accounting mindset, very analytical. So analytical up front, you come into a decision, you gotta think about the risks, right? So every approach you take, you need to go through like a framework, and we coach our team members and managers and staff on that. Like, how do you approach a challenge? How do you approach a topic? And looking at it from an analytical standpoint is really important. And then at the end of the day, someone's going to have to make a gut call. What is the right? And always Monday morning quarterbacking is very easy, but when you're in when you're making that decision, you need to use all the facts, not only internal but external. On how is other team members affected? How is the business affected? And try to make calculated risk.
Now we also have all these rising prices with the war, the gas, the consumer products. Is that hurting Celsius or somehow helping you?
Well, what's interesting, Goldman Sachs just put a report out last month about the correlation of convenience store energy drink sales associated with pricing of gas on a per gallon basis.
Are you kidding me?
And there wasn't as much of a correlation as one would think. So we also think about what the energy category is and how consumers consume it. Keep in mind, it's part of a daily routine. So, like your coffee routine, like your energy drink routine. So, and you look at the cost profile and you start to go down the list on what you're going to cut. If you're looking at your weekly budget, your monthly budget, it's something, it's an affordable luxury. It's seen a lot of times. And it's, so when you think about, do I cut my daily energy drink, or am I going to cut maybe, dessert when I go out for on a Friday dinner? Or am I going to pick a different fast casual restaurant? Was I going to go to maybe a finer restaurant? Now I'm going to fast casual, or I'm going to fast food. So I think consumers make those choices.
Let me ask you something basic. How, like this Celsius, which I do like, this one with peach mango green tea, like how much is this in most convenience stores? I don't even remember the pricing. I just go in and get it. I should not.
Yeah, we're about $3.49. $3.49 a can. And when you look at your
I'm
average,
liking this one.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Really great flavor.
So, and is it the same price point for Alani and Rockstar, or are they kind of different?
They're a little bit different. Alani is just slightly more. You'll find that about maybe 15 to 20 cents higher. And then Rockstar was probably is going to be a little bit, about 15 to 20 cents lower than Celsius.
Oh,
but
okay.
There'll be a variety of different price targets based on the retailer as well, because they require different, some of them require different margins, so they price the product differently. So we don't really control pricing because each retailer has their own margin requirement.
I got you.
We give our suggested retail price, but suggested retail price roughly around, call it $3 to $3.50 a can.
Okay, perfect. Now, let's talk about consumer loyalty and habit formation. It's clear that a lot of your growth is from existing drinkers of these products. How have you done that, as you said, to get them to drink more often? Is there something that you studied or came up to make it a habit as opposed to just a one-off every day or something?
Yeah, I think that's, the habit, when I guess it's the ritual. It's, Celsius being born in fitness. It's that pre-workout, you have a Celsius before you start your workout for the day, and then you're looking for that afternoon pickup. I think it's naturally in all of our lifestyles, and we might be having an espresso or a coffee or tea in the afternoon, or a coffee or tea in the morning. So it's really just, I would say, a replacement. And as really as these products people are looking for alternatives, better for you, more function. When you look at some of the coffee shops selling more cold products as well,
Right.
that opens up the door for even more consumers to switch over with these cold, refreshing, better for you energy drink products that are on the market. So I think the consumer has opened up those opportunities for us to expand those usage occasions.
Now, we mentioned your family also, and that you had your kids as your helpers going in and wanting the Celsius drink. Are they still involved in, promoting the product?
Oh yeah, I think the whole family is involved. I think absolutely. My daughter, my son, they've grown up with Celsius. Big supporters. Parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Everybody's
all across the country.
Okay.
They're fronting coolers. They're handing cans out, product.
What about you? Also, I've read that you coached your kids in baseball.
Yeah, I did.
And are they now have gone out of baseball
Yeah, well, my son's
Sports.
doing go-kart racing right now, so
Oh
I
my
have him in
gosh.
go-kart racing. So, and he's handing cans out as well, but at at the racetracks. But it's
That
it's fun. It's fun. You got family's important.
Now, let's talk about what's on the horizon for Celsius. What do you predict Celsius will be doing in 5 years?
5
And will you
years.
still be at CEO?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
We're going to continue to keep execute, working with the teams, building the teams. 5 years from now, I think the category is going to continue to evolve, better for you. I think retailers are going to allocate more space. That's the other thing that's happening right now is retailers are seeing the opportunity of energy and how much it's expanding within usage occasion, more consumers coming in. We can be a clear on our path to like number 2. That's our next step. We're a strong number 3 right now. We're at around
When will
21
you be
share.
number 2, and who will you knock out?
Well, the next one would be Monster on the horizon, then Red Bull, but to get to
Okay.
number 1. So
Okay.
we're hopefully a lot closer to that path.
Okay, cool. Is there something, as just a human and as a leader, that someone said to you along the way that stuck with you and has shaped you?
Yeah, I think I just go back to, I think probably I was a staff accountant at LeBar Friedman, which is a B2B publishing company. And I tell a lot of our employees, I was at a trade show. It was a business trade show. I was young at the time. I was there to experience the trade show, see what the business was about. And the VP came up to me and said, you need to insert yourself.
Assert yourself.
Insert yourself.
Insert.
Yeah,
Oh.
insert yourself into the conversations. And I was intimidated. I was there with a lot of
Right.
other executives. Here I am as a staff accountant.
That's
And I
interesting.
really took that to heart. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do. And that goes back to making things happen. You need to insert yourself. You need to ask questions. You need to connect with the leaders within the business to move yourself forward. You should know what your manager's boss is looking for out of your manager. And how do you do that? That's by inserting yourself. I think that's a major key learning.
Now, you seem to me that you are an extrovert by nature anyway, or no?
No, I think you grow upon that. I think.
Okay.
I don't think I was ever. I mean, I probably was always outgoing. I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah, that's
tried to
good.
start a lawn
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
and
That's
and,
true. Had to
and,
go
I
peddle
guess
your
so. But
services.
it's,
I love that. So, at a trade show, as a youngster, a
Yeah.
young adult,
Yeah.
someone said that to you.
I think that's, and I think you gotta take that to heart. I think that's a key learning. I tell my kids that, otherwise things pass you by, right? And that's another thing. Like as example, a lot of businesses are bringing employees back into the office. We've always had a work in office environment. I think that's a big miss. If you work from home, you're not able to insert yourself in some of these conversations with managers, your managers, because you're basically a digit and some phone number or email is not able to insert themselves in other parts of the business.
And
or
it's hard
learn
when you're
different
just on the
segments.
screen, when you're
Yeah.
a Zoom figure on the screen.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is an odd question. What is your Halloween costume occasionally, or has it been?
Oh, it's so we do Halloween here at Celsius a lot.
Here in the
We
company, not
do.
just at home.
We do. I always say we kind of joke around that it's a circus. So, and I've been the ringmaster as a Halloween costume, which gets a kick out of. A lot of employees get a kick out of it.
I need to see a picture of that. So that kind of
The
goes.
show must go on.
Yes, and it kind of goes to your founder's mentality. You've been here for so long that you take it to heart.
100%. You have to. You got to. No one else is not going to. You got to believe in yourself, believe in your team. You got to rally the team. We have 1,300 employees. If you don't believe on the top, how are you going to get anyone else to believe in you?
Correct.
And believe in the strategies.
Makes sense. Okay, the last question I always ask, because this show is called Office Hours Business Edition, if you could have office hours with anyone, it could be alive, dead, or fictional, what would you want to do with that? What person, if you could?
Oh, office hours. I've probably got to go back to Abraham Lincoln.
That's who Jamie Dimon selected.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes, yes. He was the first guest on the show, and I didn't expect anybody to suggest someone dead. So I thought he would name somebody in real life, and he came up with Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely. I think
And
that would be amazing.
Why is that the choice for you?
Just the founder mentality. I think it would be absolutely amazing to spend a whole day in the office with Abraham Lincoln.
That's fascinating. And you're not the first, but it seems to be a popular one. Good. Okay. Now, thank you for your time. And let's have another drink.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to my favorite sparkling orange.
We have a pink lemonade here. It's ready for summer.
Okay,
and
perfect.
Amazing.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much.